Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Tabitha and this is Tabby Loves. Here I talk to you about the things that I love. Today we are going to be doing a March reading wrap-up. This is everything I read in March and all of my deep dark thoughts about them. This month had some high highs and some low lows. There are some DNFs, there are some high ratings, there are some low ratings, there's a bunch of rereads, there's going to continue to be a bunch of rereads, but let's go ahead and get into it. I started out this month by doing my buddy read I do with my friend Adia, and we read His Black Tongue, which was a collection of short stories, like horror, religious themed short stories. There was one about a priest who is like wandering town to town in the middle of plague, kind of. There is this Norse like Viking sort of horror story where they land on an island and meet this great evil, that kind of stuff. It was okay. Like, me and my friend, we didn't realize going into it that it was just a short story collection, and that kind of put us off. There was definitely some short stories that we liked more than others. Like, the first two were really, really solid. It kind of lost me after that, though I did like, there was this one short story near the end where he is this priest, kind of, that, like, watches these catacombs, and he basically just trains new priests that come in, and the new priests never last long, and you quickly find out why. That one was good. And I like the one at the very end with the desert and the creepy alien artifact thing. But overall, it just wasn't for me. I'm not much of a short story collection person. I'm trying to change that. I'm trying to read more short stories, but sometimes I struggle with them just a little. I'm pretty sure I gave the book 3 stars overall. Which, in my book, I know people argue about whether or not 3 stars is a good rating or a bad rating. In my book, 3 stars is very middle of the road, you know? Like, and usually 3 stars, they can be either vaguely good, and I'd probably recommend them, to somewhat forgettable and fall out of my recommendation cycle. So, that's a 3 star. Next up, I did DNF King of Sorrow by Joe Hill, which I was very sad about. I was really excited about it, but it ended up being a lot different from what I was expecting, and I just found myself not liking the main characters, and it's one of those books where you kind of have to have some sort of attachment to the main characters to make it interesting. So, not much more to say about that. I have stopped rating my DNFs. I will still give them a review, but I will not give them a star rating. And sometimes I don't even do that. Sometimes I'll just put them as read and move on with my life. And this was one of those. So I'm just going to leave it at that. While that was going on, I was also reading A Good Girl, Bad Blood, the second A Good Girl's Guide to Murder book. And I like this one just as much as I liked the first one. It was like a perfect continuation. I liked the step from working on an older case to working on an ongoing active case with her friend's brother being missing and the police not stepping in to do anything about it. The ending left for a great segue into the third book, which is unfortunate, and we'll get into it later down in this video, why exactly it's unfortunate. But let's just say I have beef with the third book. But anyway, as far as I'm concerned, this book series is now a duology, which means, it kind of ends on quite a bit of a punch, you know. Poor Pip is traumatized, but we're just gonna pretend that she gets the help she needs. Everything is great. Her life is fantastic. I think I gave it 4 stars. Another reread, this one close to my heart, and that is Throne of Glass. It was my start of the SJM reread, since book 6 is going to be coming out in October. I've got to read 2 SJM books a month in order to keep on track to finish the last ACOTAR book when the newer one is going to be coming out. That's my goal. So, and I achieved it this month, by the way. So I reread Throne of Glass. 5 stars, no notes. Absolutely love the Throne of Glass series. It feels great to be back in this world. I haven't read this series in 3 years. I haven't read any of the SJM series. Oh, they're over on this side. I haven't read any of the SJM series in 3 years, so it feels like coming home. My second buddy read of the month, this one with my friend Rachel, we buddy read The Cruel Prince, and this is a reread for both of us. Our buddy reads, what we do is we have, Rachel and I have one way, Adia and I have another way. Adia and I, we pick a different book each month. Rachel and I, right now, we are, she wanted me to read this entire series. I want her to read the entirety of Aragon. So we are bouncing back and forth the series and reading them together, and we started with The Cruel Prince. I love The Cruel Prince. I think I gave this book 4 stars. I love the, I don't want to say ingenuity, because, like, these are, like, it's more like classic fae, you know? I don't mind the romantasy fae, that's basically just elves, but I liked how this branched out and actually hit more of the classical fae myths. It makes it just a little bit fun, you know, a little bit more out there. And I like the main character, and I am excited to actually, like, read this entire series and see what's up. And the next, Little Strangers. Now, this is the book I did for this month's Exploring Smut segment. This one, it was a dark romance with adopted step-siblings. If you want to hear my full thoughts on it, go watch my video about it. It'll probably be linked. I'll put it up either here, or I'll put it up at the end, something like that. But go check that out if you want to see my full thoughts on that book specifically, because there was a lot of thoughts. But I overall didn't rate it because I explained it why in the video. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad. Like, the writing itself was fine. It was just the subject matter is why I refrained. And I was also reading at the same time, Violet Thistleway is not a villain anymore. This one, it was really cozy. It was this fun kind of twist on fantasy. Very, very character focused. If you love a character, like, internal workings kind of conflict, then this book is for you, about people overcoming the worst parts of themselves to be the best parts of themselves, all of that fun stuff. And just overall, it was a lot of fun. I really liked it. It was like, it kind of dipped here and there. There was at one point where I was a little bit bored at the beginning, but it picked up. You know what? It redeemed itself, and I was perfectly happy with this. I think I gave this 4 stars as well. If I'm wrong about that at any point, the correct stars will be somewhere on the screen wherever I put it. But I'm pretty sure I rated this 4 stars. Up next is my reread of Crown of Midnight. Now, Crown of Midnight, of course, 5 stars. It is like it's like my least favorite book, I think, in the Tower, or not Tower of Dawn. Oh my god. I was thinking about how that one might be the other worst one. In the Throne of Glass series, Crown of Midnight is one of my least favorites. It's like, it very much kind of feels like a second book syndrome-esque. Like, it's just a story to get the movement of the plot from one point to the other. But still better than a lot of stuff I do read, so 5 stars. You know, absolutely love it. And then I listened to Beg, Borrow, and Steal by Sarah Adams. Now, you guys would know if you've been on this page or on my TikTok, I love her When in Rome series. And I was behind because I meant to read this book when it came out, like, I think it was last February. And I didn't get to it until recently. And I absolutely loved it. I always love her writing. I don't know why it took me so long. I think I was scared after enjoying the first 2 books so much that it wasn't going to live up to it. And it lived up to it just fine. And not only that, but the 4th book in that series is also apparently out. I have it on hold right now at the library. Can't wait to get it. And finish off that series. Absolutely love Sarah Adams' like romances. I want to try out more of her books when I finish this series too. I just think there's something so wholesome about them. They're all closed door. If you're not a fan of spice, but you like all the stuff surrounding the spice, this is a great author for you too. I gave this book, I can't remember if I gave it 4 stars or 5 stars. It was either 4 stars or 5 stars. It was definitely really good. Highly recommend. I loved the relationship between the two main characters. The main male character was so endearing. Like, it was just, and the fact that they were both authors, too, it scratches an extra special place in my heart whenever I'm reading a book about people that are related to books in some way, whether that be librarian, author, editor, whatever. Just up next is one I liked a lot more, In the Garden of Spite by Camilla Bruce. Camilla Bruce wrote this book, You Let Me In, that I absolutely love. It's one of my god tier books, and I have been so scared to read anything else from her because I was scared that it would not live up to how good that one book I read from hers was. And like, though I will say, did not enjoy it as much as the other book I've mentioned, but still absolutely loved it. Like, this was almost, I don't want to say a retelling, because it's about a real serial killer. This female serial killer who was, like, in the early, like, 1900s, sort of, and she killed, like, a lot of people. Like, her kill number was ginormous. But basically what this author did is she went through and wrote out what, like, her life might have looked like in, like a historical fiction kind of way. And it was just done so well. She just does such good character work. This is another book, I can't remember if I gave it 4 stars or 5 stars. It was, like, on the cusp. I think it got 4 stars, but I might have given it 5 stars. I'm sorry, I can't remember. But that's just how close it was in the rating. I think if I did give it 4 stars, it was like a 4.25 or something like that. Like, it got a little extra. It was, and it's definitely opened the way where I need to continue diving into Camilla Bruce's backlog and see what else is there for me, because she has such great ideas, and I can't wait to dive in. Now on to another unfortunate DNF, A Betrayal of Storms. And now, the reason that I didn't post a YouTube video last week is actually because I was trying to do a YouTube video that was a readathon, and it was completely derailed because this was the book I was reading for the readathon, and I couldn't do it. I got a little over halfway. It was like something like 230 or so pages in, and I love the beginning of this. The beginning of this really had me hooked. The beginning of this was fantastic. I was interested in the world. I was interested to find out what the fuck was going on. And unfortunately, like, you get like 5-6 chapters in, and the writing just really went downhill. And I mean literally in this case. Like, the amount of typos that popped up in this book as I continued reading was actually kind of ridiculous for what looks like a traditionally published book. Now, Angry Robot, I have not heard of that publisher before. They seem like, to some extent, a legit publisher, so I just don't know what happened here, especially because this is a gay romantasy. It is a MLM romantasy, so I was really hoping to enjoy it, and I am really sad that it just didn't work. It just didn't live up to what it was promising, and like I said, the writing just unfortunately went downhill so fast. I couldn't do it anymore. Especially because it got to a point in the story where there was a conflict that was just so poorly done. I was like, I don't even want to see them have to get through this conflict. Because the conflict itself was so poorly done, it made me mad. So, unfortunately, that book was a DNF. But like I said, I'm not rating my DNFs, so I just left a review that basically said the same things, and we'll leave it at that. Okay. Finally, the final book that, not the second to last book, because there is one more book I'm going to talk about in this, but it's going to be at the very end, and I'll explain that in a second. But before I get into this last book, and it's the last book in the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, As Good as Dead, I need to grab a drink real quick, because, do I have a rant for y'all. Okay, so, where do I begin with this? I was really excited to get into this one. I was excited to complete out this trilogy. The premise of this third book sounded so intriguing, and I was so ready, right? And then right off the bat, we were hit with some dark stuff, right? And, it's like Pip By the way, this will contain some spoilers for the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. I'm not going to be able to talk about this book without talking about some spoilers. Spoiler-free TLDR version, they basically assassinated Pip's character. Not literally, figuratively. And the decisions that Pip ends up making went from being understanding to what the fuck is going on. Okay, now on to the spoilers. Pip starts out with buying drugs from the drug dealer from the second book. She is, like, just absolutely despondent, right? And having to take, like, Xanax to help her sleep, that kind of thing. And it's just, and I felt for her. Like, I didn't have a problem with that at the beginning, because I thought it was interesting, actually, to go from that kind of standpoint for a YA series. And I was like, okay, and we get to see her, like, work herself out of it. And it seemed like it was going that direction for a while. You know, there was this anonymous person that was sending her the same message. Who's gonna look for you when you're the one that disappears? And she keeps saying over and over again that she knows who would look for her, that her boyfriend would look for her, her family would look for her, her friends would look for her. And she basically discovers that it's a serial killer that's after her, and it was a serial killer that people thought was in prison because of a false confession. And she even gets really close to figuring out who it is, and then she gets kidnapped, right? And I was all for it. You still, it got really slow during the actual kidnapping process. What I thought was going to happen is I thought we were going to jump point of views and get, like, a Ravi point of view or something. Is going to be him and Pip's friends looking for her after that. But no, we stay with her the entire time. The entire time she gets taken to the warehouse, the entire time the events happen. I'm still, like, even though this is the spoiler section, I'm still going to leave it kind of vague, but just for others' enjoyment. I don't know. So I won't say who the serial killer ended up being. But basically, she ends up killing the killer. And she has Ravi come and come get her. And it like, already the built up, it looked like she was preparing to hide the fact that she murdered this man and to cover it up. And so I paused there. That's when I stopped. It was like 51, 53%, somewhere around that range. And that's when I'm like, okay, I'm going to spoil it for myself. I'm going to go to Goodreads and look this up, because if she spends the second half of this book covering up that she murdered this guy, I'm done. And that's exactly what it was. She spends the rest of the book covering up that she murdered this guy and enlisting her friends and her boyfriend and everyone to help her do it. And they frame this guy, I mean, he doesn't have my sympathy because he was a rapist, but they frame him, I guess. This is from what I learned from the reviews, okay? So if I'm wrong about this, blame the reviewers. But she frames him, and then when all is said and done, she goes off to college and cuts ties with everybody. Her boyfriend, her friends, her family. Apparently she just ditches them all. And that's how it ends. That's the grand finale for the series. So I DNF'd it. I was like, I'm not dealing with this. I have too many other things I want to read, too many other things I want to do. There's no way I'm gonna deal with this. So, yeah. That is the unfortunate conclusion to my read through of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. I am very upset that this is how the cookie crumbled. But anyway, moving on to the last book I want to talk. Okay, so the reason that this book is last is actually mostly because I haven't finished it yet. I am filming this on the Saturday before the end of the year, or the end of the month, I mean. So I still have some days, right? But I knew that if I recorded the same day that the month actually ends, that I would not be I would not be getting this video up in time, right? So here is what we're gonna do, right? I'm about 100 pages in to Brandon Sanderson's Mistborn, and I have like 4 days to finish this book, and I am going to come back to this video probably in a different state, probably, like, not state as in, like, I'm different state of dress. Like, I'll be in pajamas, probably. It's gonna be dark outside, and, I'm gonna tell you how I felt about this book when I finish it in the future. So, you will see me 4 days from now, with a verdict on how I felt about it. Though I will say, so far, really liking it. So far, really interesting stuff. I've heard great things about Brandon Sanderson's fantasy worlds. I've heard great things about his writing, and I've heard great things about his magic system. And so far, they're all living up to it. It is a hell of a lot of pages. Like, I thought this was going to be a 400-page book by the look of it, and it's like 600 something. But you know what? That's fine. You know, a length never made me back down before. So, I'll see ya in 4 days' time. Or for you, 3 seconds. Hey. So, long story short, I did not finish Mistborn. Actually, I'm not even halfway through Mistborn, but I'm almost at 300 pages, and I am really enjoying it. However, for the sake of this video, I did not finish it. I failed. I was so close, so close. So, you know, it is now the first book I'm going to be reading in April, which is fine. Like, I have full confidence that I could finish it, by the end of this week, especially when I have my 2 days off of work, and I have all day where I could read. I'm not concerned about it. Plus, at least on the bright side, this will allow me to talk about the Mistborn trilogy as a whole in next month's reading wrap-up. So I am sorry that I failed, but it is what it is. Stuff happens. You know, my life was pretty fucking chaotic this week. So, what am I gonna do? But I appreciate it if you watched it all the way to the end to see me fail. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see more from me. I just post video content like this once a week. This video is coming up late. This video is coming up on a Thursday, but usually post on Wednesdays around 10, Denver time. But, anyway, I appreciate y'all. Love you. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.